Hey, Regina here at Tarot in Time. And I am here. You know me, I'm always switching things up. If you've ever been in our shop in Kent, Connecticut, people are always saying everything's moved again. I guess it's because I'm a lot of mutable signs. So I'm here mixing it up again. I have a wonderful, wonderful special co host today that I am so excited to have. So meet Glori Wilder. Hi, Glori.
Hi.
So, Glori is a singer songwriter. She has been a crucial part of Tarot and Time's development over the years, and she just so happens to be my most wonderful youngest daughter. So, Glori, tell us a little bit about you, about your music, about your life with tarot.
So my main thing is being a songwriter, and that's where most of my focus goes. But when I'm not doing that, I'm usually reading tarot cards or reading astrology charts and just seeing what's going on spiritually and energetically around me. And like we pick cards every day and we look at the charts for almost every day as well. Always trying to stay updated with what is going on up there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like my main two things is songwriting and spiritual crafts.
Awesome. I love that kind of, if you listen to your music, you can kind of feel the vibes of that. And, your music, it's available on all streaming platforms. I mean, I'm your mom. I love it, but I've watched other people's reactions, especially as you play out more and more. And they are just really smitten with you as soon as they connect with you. So if you haven't heard her yet, go check her out on all streaming platforms under Glori, Glori Wilder, and I think you'll be impressed. Now, Glori is also going to be co-hosting with me our upcoming Tarot Tea and Treats. That happens at 45 on Main Street Coffee Place in Kent, Connecticut. And so we're going to be a mom-daughter team teaching a group of people. It's not limited to just moms and daughters. So just a time to gather together, local people gathering together, forming community, forming connection, and reading the cards together as a group. No experience necessary, but we will guide you through it, okay? And if you have interest, we're kind of taking a little gauge here, a little poll of if you have interest in a group like that forming online, please let us know. Please comment so that we can give it some thought, okay? All right, so we're here to talk to you about the big month of April. And wouldn't you say, Glori, like it's a big month.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
there's a
just like
lot going on.
we reviewed it and she was like, my goodness. I think you said like, what, wow, the baby that's born that
Yeah,
day.
whoever's born at the time of the eclipse that's coming up, I wish you all the luck in the world
I
and the
bet you,
people around you.
yeah, the people, well, they're going to be a go getter. There's a lot of fire energy, right? A lot of
Oh
creative
yeah.
energy, dynamic. So, we're going to kind of just talk a little bit about the whole month, and then we're going to jump into a week by week forecast. This is Astro Tarot, so it'll be a blend of astrology and tarot cards. So, when we look at the whole month, right? The first thing that caught my eyes when I'm looking at the whole month is that most of the month we're going to be in a Mercury retrograde, right? We know that happens a couple times a year. Like to mark my calendar ahead of time for a retrograde, but I do not fear it the way that it's portrayed sometimes. Because to me, a Mercury retrograde is just a time when I know, hey, I'm not going to be making any major purchases. I'm not going to be making any major decisions, but I'm going to observe what's going on. What's your
I
feel about it?
Whenever Mercury retrograde comes, it's usually uncomfortable at first, but by the time, at least for me, by the time it's over, I don't want it to end. I like get comfortable
Mm,
in it. I kind of like the feel. It's definitely like different than what I'm usually feeling. You have to get adjusted to it, but I find that I kind of like it once I've gotten comfortable.
yeah. And I think, weren't you born in a Mercury retrograde?
Yes,
That's
I am
part of why.
a Gemini Mercury retrograde, so I have a lot of
Yeah.
Mercury in that little.
So those who have planets in the sign of Gemini or the sign of Virgo, or those who are a Gemini or Virgo, are going to be affected even more. Now we have some Mercury retro babes, as I like to call them, right, that are born during that period, and it's interesting to get their twist on it because they're more used to that, right? That's more the norm to them. So sometimes those people feel more alive during a Mercury retrograde, which you would be an example of. I personally just like to revisit things. I like to go back and I like to follow the transit of Mercury. So this Mercury retrograde is going to go from 27 degrees of Aries back to 15 degrees of Aries. So a retrograde, basically, Mercury's moving along. It gets to 27 degrees Aries. It begins its descent back, and it goes back all the way to 15 degrees Aries, which is the same as where we were on March 18th. Then it'll go direct. That will be on April 25th. And then it goes back over that ground. So even though people think, oh, Mercury retrograde's over, yeah, but still pay attention to the coming back over, because that's the time when you're really going to get the clarity.
Yeah,
right?
So basically you're like, from the 18th, you're experiencing life. And then it goes backwards, and all those things you experienced since the 18th will circle back in some way. Yeah. And then it goes direct again. And you might have clarity on all that, and now you can go through those motions back over those experiences with a little more clarity.
Yeah. So anything that you think maybe, oh, that's one and done, or that's most things are going to come back up and show themselves again. And it's Aries, so it's going to be feisty. Aries is definitely the warrior. So those things that were going on since March 18th, they're not really fully done. You're going to go back over that time. So you get to reevaluate. So if you regret something, or the way something was handled, or the way something was said, don't worry. You get a redo. You get a lot of redos here. So take advantage of all the RE words: redo, renegotiate, reassess, reapply, right? All these words, and make the most of April, because from April 1st to April 25th, we will have this retrograde going on. Now, that sounds intense enough on its own, but there's way more stuff going on this month, right? So how many planets do we have in Aries? Do you know, Glori?
We have 4 planets. We have the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, and Venus. But we also have 2 aspects of Chiron and the North Node in Aries.
Right. So, interesting. So themes of old wounds coming up to heal, because Aries is your childhood in general, right? And Chiron, like, we all have childhood stuff in various ways. We got Chiron there in Aries. So that stuff, Chiron is the wounded healer. So the wound coming up to heal so we can help others heal, right? That's going to be activated. So we may find that memories from childhood come up, or maybe, we get poked in that spot where it's like that activates that childhood trauma, right? Those things are coming up to heal right now. Okay, so a lot of Aries energy. Plus, if you look at the chart, everything's kind of squeezed together. Right?
Yeah, it's pretty much all in the 9th house. At least all the Aries activity is, other than Venus. So
right, go ahead.
That's an accentuation on even more fire energy, just within Sagittarius instead of Aries.
So what you're referring to is the chart for the solar eclipse. There's a lot of energy in that 9th house. If we make a chart for the minute of the solar eclipse, which is April 8th at 2:21 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, what Glori is referring to is that the rising sign would be Leo, more fire. Both the sun and moon will be in the fire signs of Aries. They will be conjunct the North Node, transiting Chiron, transiting Eris, which I'm not going to get too into because I'm not as up to date on that one, but the transiting Mercury too, that's going to be in its retrograde, and the solar eclipse. So there's a lot of fire energy. The big 3 are in fire signs, And then you've got all this activity happening in the 9th house. Sagittarius is fire house. So intensity. All right. So let's talk about how we can make the most of that. Let's talk a little bit more about the eclipses. And then we're going to go week by week and give you practical advice for everyday living. Okay. There's a lot of astrologers out there. There's a lot that have a huge view of astrology, and I am in awe of them. And I try to learn from as many of them as I can. But I'm here. My version is to show you everyday practical living, how we can make the best of it. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about these eclipses. Now, we had back in March, we talked about it last month. On March 25th, we had the full Libra moon, the full relationship moon, and then we had the lunar eclipse. Now, the lunar eclipse was conjunct together with the transiting south node in Libra. So the south node is the past, right? The cup, holding all the past. So this lunar eclipse full moon back on March 25th was a great time to dump stuff off. Heard some astrologers calling it like the great compost. Okay, so this could have had a lot of relationship themes. It was in Libra, and Libra is known to have codependency issues, to have some give themselves away for free, right? So where are we doing that in our lives?
Yeah, Libra is often like thinking about what all of other people's needs and less about your own self's needs. So putting people first, but sometimes it goes too heavy in that side.
Yeah. So we were being activated to release those situations that just don't work. And, you know, I've heard a lot of people saying, like, it's really great to offer something up because something's going to be taken, right? And so we're really, really being shown we can try to be proactive and offer some things up that we are ready to let go of. Now, remember, these eclipses, they affect us longer than just that day. It's actually said to affect us 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after. So as we enter into April, we're still charged up with that lunar eclipse of what needs to be let go. This is going to have themes about money because it's Libra. Libra's like contracts, law, land, marriage, all those contracty kind of things. It's in the sign, Libra's ruled by the sign Venus, right? So Venus, like sometimes we just think of love when we think of Venus, or we just think of money when we think of Venus. It's got all those themes, and it has relationship themes, especially relationships with women. Now, that was activated, right? And that was actually connected. The last lunar eclipse we had before that was October 28th. So there's a lot. So you got to think back. What was going on October 28th? What was going on the 25th of March? What was being released? What was going on in your life? Just take note. Okay. This is a great time to be writing in a notebook. Glori, I know you're always writing in notebooks.
Oh, yeah. I have so many notebooks right over to the right of me, actually. So I actually should be journaling because my activity from the 28th of October to the 25th of March has been insane.
Yeah,
and
undeniable, right?
Yeah, totally makes sense with the whole Libra activity too. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you really want to look in your chart. Where's Libra in your chart? Because that was being activated with that full moon on March 25th. Where's Aries in your chart, right? Because that's what's going on here with these full moons and new moons. So yeah, see where that falls in your chart. See if you have planets in that chart. And if one of those signs are your big three, then you're going to be exceptionally activated by this. Now, let's talk about April, because the big event of April is on April 8th when we have the solar eclipse. So we will have the sun and the moon in the sign of Aries. I already talked about everything that it's conjunct. It's opposite the south node, so there's still the activation of what we were releasing, right? And if these things affect us 2 weeks before and after, then at some point they kind of cross into each other, right? So we're still being activated. What is going to be let go of? Where are we being prompted to make change? This doesn't have to be negative change. Okay, this could be things you're scared of, but it could be exactly what you wanted. Because I find that when I get what I want, I'm terrified.
Oh yeah, sometimes the things that you want always come in, like they come in intensely and you don't always know if you can handle it. But I think the biggest thing is being open to the idea of change because it's going to happen either way. So
Absolutely.
don't put like blockages against it because that's when it can hit harder and not as comfortably for you.
Absolutely. Because we can either go with the flow of change or we're going to be whacked with it. So let's envision ourselves open. Now, remember, we still have a couple planets in Pisces. Mars is in Pisces. Saturn is in Pisces. Neptune is in Pisces. So we still, even though Pisces kind of wants to chill and reflect and rest, and then we've got all this Aries energy activating us. And what came through this month, I did the not the pick pile, but the sign by sign tarot reading. I filmed that first. And the message that kept coming through was yellow light. You can move forward, but you have to flashing yellow light. Okay, so take caution still. I find that great change requires great rest. What do you think?
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Definitely like paying attention to the way that you feel and the way your body's reacting, and don't push yourself farther than what your body can handle in the moment, or else you're just going to end up feeling drained and you might not get all the benefits of what the eclipses want to bring to you if you're not respecting the energy that it's putting towards you.
Well said. And, Aries rules the head, right? So we can get overstimulated. We can get headaches. And Pisces rules the feet. So it's almost like we got to put our feet up a little bit, not be all full speed ahead.
I would say try to be as grounded as possible if Aries and Pisces are the heavy hitting signs going on, because Aries takes a lot of action quickly and they don't always like have the thought process beforehand of the action of what the turnout might be. And Pisces, even though they rule the feet, they're not like have like feet on the ground, solid, grounded. They're very mental dreamers.
Absolutely.
And having some clear thoughts and thinking before taking action and trying to do like grounded work to keep yourself just conscious of your space and time and energy, that's going to be very vital.
Well, you think about Mars is the ruling planet of all this Aries activity, and Mars is in Pisces. Not the easiest placement for Mars.
Think before speaking. I would say that one.
Oof.
Yeah.
I think that's like the quote for my whole life that I need to learn. Think before speaking. So Mars and Pisces. So I really am going to continue with my advice of flashing yellow light. Forward movement with caution. Thank goodness we have a couple planets in Taurus to keep us grounded, but nothing is balanced right now. And I know it sounds like I say that every month, but it is very accentuated this month.
And it hasn't been balanced for a while, kind of.
No.
The charts have been a little like crazy for a bit of time, but this chart is a little exceptional.
Exceptionally unbalanced. So hot-headed tendencies, very easy to get hot-headed, very easy to try to put pedal to the metal. You need to use caution. I love how Sheila Haidt Top recommends using ankle weights. Right? Ankle weights to keep us grounded, because Mars and Pisces, it's easy to miss a step. Okay.
Wear
literally
your stone bracelets, like your hematite and obsidian and all that.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. And the weather here in New England's getting warmer. Walk outside barefoot, that kind of stuff. Okay. So just grounding techniques. And honestly, sometimes eat your veggies, maybe a little brown rice. The best thing I find for grounding often is just my bed. So do what you got to do. Be aware of it.
Every person's form of finding grounded energy is different. So doing whatever you personally feel called to do.
Yeah. And being really careful about overstimulation of the mind, overstimulation of the head in general. So that can be a lot of electronics. That can be television, overthinking, and just mental activity. So make sure you get the downtime. So back to the solar eclipse on Monday the 8th, 19 degrees Aries. Okay. So finding out where you are, 19 degrees Aries. Now, solar eclipses. Boy, I was doing a lot of research about it. There's so much fear mongering over this eclipse on the internet. It's unbelievable. And personally, as most of you have heard me share, and if you haven't, please go to our website, tarotandtime.com, and click on the blog, and you will see the article entitled The Devils and the Cupcakes. That's a story that I've shared about growing up as a Jehovah's Witness. Nice sarcastic story about that. Hopefully there'll be more of those soon. But my roots are in that fear-mongering kind of energy, right? And it's interesting as we're talking about the South Node and the North Node in the past and our relationships in general, it brought up a lot about my relationship with fear, right? So with all this, there's people all over the internet talking about the end of the world, but I think people always are talking about the end of the world. There's a lot of misinformation out there about solar eclipses. We do know that solar eclipses happen. We have many eclipses. We usually have a couple eclipses a year. I know, like, I was researching that there was 5 eclipses in like 1935. It's not uncommon to have eclipses, okay? Now, way back in time, they took it as like warnings that like a government was going to fall way back in like biblical times, and it wasn't understood all the way. So please don't fall into the fear mongering. It's there. For myself, as I've researched it, it really showed me my South Node of what I need to release, which is some of that fear, right? Get into the practical reality of what this is doing. What were you going to say, Glori?
I think like this chart, it's going to stir things up. And a lot of things, when you look at what's going on in the world right now, it's easy to take that and make it into a fearful situation. And there is part of it that you don't want to look at it naively, that you don't want to think nothing's going to happen.
Right.
The news is probably going to be full of a lot, but we don't know what that's going to look like, and we can't make these expectations of horrible things when it could also be very powerful things. And powerful doesn't have to be negative. Powerful can be positive. There's actually a lot in the chart for really extreme successes too. So there's a lot of positives that can come out of this chart, but just being cautious because energy, especially in Aries, is so concentrated and loud. It's like, watch out for road rage. You don't know what people's moods are going to be in.
Yeah.
Like just being cautious of feisty energy, but that doesn't have to mean it's going to be like the worst situation ever. They can be small situations. And then also when you see things in the news, like you can feel for it and you can understand like the energy that's going on a little bit, but you don't have to be fearful necessarily.
Absolutely. And I mean, this is going to stir up emotion in people no matter what. Anytime we have a full moon, we know that it does that. The new moon, the moon's cycle in general affects us. So then when we have these extraordinary things like these eclipses, and then we have fear mongering on top of it, there's a lot of energy out there. Now, I want to envision this as a time moving into newness, right? We're moving into the age of Aquarius. Pluto has moved into the sign of Aquarius. Now, let it bring us peace. Let it bring us more humanitarian energy. And let there be an end to some of these old ways of being that are just not working. So that's my take on the eclipse. So let me give you a few more things. So this solar eclipse on April 8th is said to affect us for the next 18 years. Okay. This is about I am. So especially like Glori, for you, it's like this is a great time for you to be thinking about what your career is going to be for the next 18 years. This is a time,
creating image, how you want to present yourself and how you want to be seen by others. So.
Right, because Aries is the term I am. It's a definition of you. So this is a great time for rebranding. This is a great time for showing up differently, right? With Uranus next to Jupiter in the sign of Taurus, we have this opportunity for unexpected monies to come in like this, unexpected opportunities, luck, and blessings to show up out of the blue. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's envision the checks coming in and less bills, more checks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aries is also a very active energy. So I would say a good practice for a lot of people in this time to find like get grounded in yourself and to like work with the energy is to find forms of exercise and
Mm,
movement to work with that. Aries is the kind of energy that is going to go play every single sport, go
yeah.
run, do marathons, do rock climbing,
Mm,
like do all like these crazy like levels of athleticism and different
yeah.
sports and everything, or just like kayaking. Like there's so many aspects of what Aries will go into. So
Hmm.
finding your own form, even if it's just like walking in your yard or something, but like just finding something to go do to move your body in this
Good
time.
advice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, the baby born on April 8th, maybe they'll be like an Olympic swimmer. Like,
They're gonna be
they're
something.
going to be something. Yeah.
It makes me think because if they're born exactly at that time, if the chart we're looking at the time of the eclipse at 221, if that's what their chart would look like with in the ninth house, that makes me think like someone who's gonna throw their phone away, go live like in the woods off the grid for a while, come back and be a spiritual teacher. Like
Ooh.
crazy, like a life that almost nobody lives.
Ooh, so think
Yeah.
of that energy. That's what we can activate right now. And so you may feel extremely accelerated during this period, or you may feel very slowed down. You're probably going to feel one extreme or the other. Okay. But this is an opportunity, okay, to release fear based patterns, to live more consciously, to call in more joy and enthusiasm into your life. This is being called a portal. Okay. So let's see it as a portal to amazing things. Okay. I do not like the fear mongering, like I've said before. And what good does that do? You know, a lot of people come to me during readings and they tell me about an experience they've had with a reader who's maybe predicted death for someone. What good is that going to bring? That's going to keep us in fear and keep us weighed down,
Yeah.
right?
As someone who's had those predictions in readings, it
Yeah.
does no good.
It doesn't do any good. It just robs the person of their power, I think.
Yeah.
So please think of this as a new beginning on steroids. Okay? You have an opportunity here like so I haven't seen in a while. And remember that you will revisit this period. So this is not one and done. Here's the opportunity. We go back over it again, and here we go again. Okay? And it may you have clarity by the end of it. Okay? So, let's talk week by week. Glori, do you want to let's pick a couple cards first just for the month. We both have some tarot decks we're working with. Glori, what are you working with?
I have the spellcasters,
Ooh, do
which
you have the box?
yeah.
Oh, cool. Ooh, the spellcasters.
This is my favorite deck. It's one of the ones I use like all the time when I
Mm,
read myself. Between this and the Rider Waite, I pretty much don't use any other deck.
wow.
So,
I
yeah.
use tons of decks, but I've got a few here. Some of these I used in the sign by sign reading. Now, if you haven't, I know I changed my format recently. No more pick a pile. I'm doing more sign by sign reading just so it's a little bit more in tune to you personally. And then you can go listen to your sun, your rising, and your moon. Okay. One of the decks that I used was this Green Witch, which has become a favorite of mine. I'm going to work with that. Also, this is the month that we have Beltane. I mean, I know it's technically May 1st, but we're going to cover it in this report. So I do have the Beltane Oracle here too. And so, Glori, I'm going to pick one tarot, one oracle.
Okay.
What do you want to pick two
I
from yours?
yeah, I don't have an oracle with me, so I'll just pick two tarot.
Just pick two from there and see what we got. We're looking for themes. We want to see if these themes follow out in the week by week. So let's just see what comes up here. All right, Glori, you want to go first?
Okay.
What are you laughing at?
So, just what okay. They came in reverse, but I'm not gonna overthink that. I first have the Three of Swords, and
Mhm.
it it's a lot of energy. There is going to be a lot of things that are going to come in that have the potential to have a little heartache over. But there's also this bright sun here, and it doesn't have to be like a hopeless situation, especially with
Mm.
the Wheel of Fortune. There's this monkey up top with a blindfold over its eyes, and it just goes into the whole like, if you hold up a wall against the universe and say you don't want change, it's gonna like bulldoze in, and that's when Three of Swords kind of stuff can come in and really hurt more. If you just like are okay with the blindfold for a moment, it's not going to be there forever, but just for the moment to let the universe guide you and trust in it, then you're not going to have the bulldozing situation. You're going to be able to spin with the wheel and not fall off.
Ooh,
So,
surrender, surrender.
surrender.
I love that Three of Swords because it reminds me of like a rotisserie chicken, and it only almost makes me find like it humorous. Like it almost like when is the Three of Swords humorous? But it almost
Yeah.
feels like there's Chiron, right? Our soul's wound on display for everyone to see, and we can actually kind of see maybe it's sarcastic humor, but we can kind of see the funny side of our pain, maybe.
Yeah. I think just like it's going to be intense. We can't say that it's not going to be intense. It's going to be a very um, challenging in ways time to go through, but it doesn't mean it has to be something you're afraid of. It's just like a challenge can be a good thing. It's like being in school and taking a test. A test is just showing you what you've learned, and if you get a bad grade, you just have to study more and retake it.
I
It
like
doesn't have
that.
to be like a horrible thing. It's more
You're
just like a
definitely
little lesson.
you're definitely going to get a retake too with retrograde. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. Well, I got the 10 of Pentacles. And so 10 to me, well, we both got 10s. The wheel's 10,
Yeah.
right? So 10 in numerology, we'd call it a 1. So we're talking about beginning or endings and new beginnings. And Pentacles is anything of value. And my attention goes to the kingfisher bird here. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. It's kind of like a rare sighting. And this is a rare month for sure. So take advantage of this rare energy and bring get rid of the things that aren't working and let the new stuff come in. And if you're afraid, join the club.
And if there's something you've been wanting to do, this is the time to take that action. There's so much energy in Aries, and Aries is ruled by Mars. And Mars
Mm-hmm.
also as well in this chart has a very prominent position, being right next to Saturn, the planet of
Mm-hmm.
success and hard work. But Mars is the planet of action. So, like, I know for
Yeah.
me, I'm using this time to reach out to so many people. And
Yeah.
with that, I'm getting so many responses because I'm actually taking that time to put those messages out there. So, if there's people you've wanted to reach out to, or businesses to contact, or places just to have some conversation and communication with, this is the time to really take that action and do it before retrograde starts.
Yeah, ideally getting the ball rolling before April 1st, but I know that this is an April report. So this can be a time to revisit old things and kind of look at old plans and what you wanted to do. And I don't really have a problem reaching out to people if I have been working on something. It's the things that pop up out of the blue,
Yeah.
right? You're like, oh, I want to buy that. Oh, I saw that. I want to
Don't
purchase.
buy a car.
Remember when I bought the washer machine? I think I bought like a washer machine instead of a dryer. Do you remember that a few years ago?
Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
familiar.
I was like, no, it'll be fine. I really got to buy this. And like, I bought the total wrong thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't push your luck with buying things, but revisit some of your old ideas, revisit some of your old conversations. But if you can wait to sign on the dotted line about things till after April 25th, that would be better. Okay.
Yeah.
But if not, just review things. Have them reviewed a few times. Ask for help. Ask others for help. Talk to your lawyer. Okay, my other card was the sun god.
Wow.
Talk about seeing clearly the sun. It says, come all, come now, expand into the skies and into the shadows below. So
Well,
there's a
that's
lot
more
of clarity.
fire.
More fire. More
Yeah.
fire. Just what we need. Okay, so let's start off talking week by week. So we start off where we left off last month, which falls right on April 1st, April Fools. And no, Mercury retrograde is not a joke. It does start on April 1st, and it's going to go through April 25th. Try to make light of it, try to make the most of it. Take it seriously, but don't be scared of it. Okay. So when we start off with April 1st, we have the moon entering into the sign of Capricorn early in the morning. Okay. So it's time to get our journal out. It's time to get, Capricorn's such a great time for like hard work and getting things done, right? Like if I'm going to work late, I try to make sure it's on a Capricorn moon, right?
And if you're pulling any pranks, like you'll get the details of those down. You'll pull good April Fool's jokes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Very effective. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So Tuesday the 2nd, we've got the Capricorn moon conjunct Pluto. We've got Venus and Neptune. I think they're all in Pisces. So there's a lot of like love energy in the air, but there's also a lot of delusion running high. So especially in the matters of the heart. So stay grounded. I don't want to see anybody like hopping on a plane to Vegas and getting engaged or anything. Right? Or
They
get
don't
married.
get engaged in Vegas.
Oh, right. I'm confused. Okay, now's not the time. All right. Then we move into Wednesday the 3rd, and we have the moon entering into Aquarius early in the morning. And all the planets are going to be opposite the south node. And then we got this big square going on with Mercury and Pluto. So, squares, we want to be careful with Mercury, what we say on the 3rd, because once we go retrograding, it won't be done. We'll come back to it.
Yeah, that's the thing about retrograde, is if you want to not have to deal with a situation again, don't deal with it in retrograde, because you'll have to deal with it many times.
Yeah. All right. Since March 18th, really. So, going to be interesting. But for some people, that might be a good thing because it's not done yet. So if say you had a breakup or something, it's not done yet. We're going to go back over that ground. Just be really careful on the 3rd, okay? You got the 2nd, might be a little better day to speak than the 3rd. Then we move into the 4th, Thursday the 4th, and we've got the moon still in the sign of Aquarius. It's going to have a square with Uranus and Jupiter. And so my advice for the 4th is just do your own thing and don't get into it with others. Nice.
Aquarius is so intelligent and forward thinking. It's like they rule large groups of people, but they tend to be pretty like comfortable being alone. So I would say like that's a time to just like kind of be reclusive if you feel like it, and just be like mentally just like let your brain run wild and do your thing. Be creative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And keep in mind that these eclipses are still showing themselves for you for at least until the 15th of the month. Okay. So then on Thursday, Venus moves into Aries. So there we go with more planets in Aries. The moon will enter Pisces early in the morning on Friday the 5th. So we'll have 4 planets in Pisces. Venus will have just moved into Aries. Pluto's going to be square Mercury. I wrote down for Friday the 5th, chill out. Contemplate your conversations, but wait to speak. Remember, we got more Pisces energy there. Pisces wants to reflect, retreat, feel. Aries wants to move forward. It's kind of push and pull energy. Just chill.
And like the big thing is that all these like signs where the moon is, it's going to hit everybody differently. Like for me, Pisces energy, like it's a little tricky. It's on my descendant, meaning it's right across from my rising sign, and it gives a lot of perspective on like how I think of the way I view myself. But someone else might have it in the 5th house, which is going to be how they express fun and joy and childlike energy. So if that's where Pisces is, you're probably going to want to go out and be with your friends and have these connections. Whereas for me, I want to be more like reclusive a little bit and self-reflective.
But Pisces in general has themes of kind of stepping away, retreating back, I don't know. Pisces is just such a relaxing time to me to just be, take baths and take some alone time and do what you want.
You also have a very prominent Pisces placement. So
Yes.
that brings in that energy. What I've noticed with Pisces that in my life that I've seen is that they form very close bonds with people.
Hmm.
So if like people who have a lot of Pisces, like when Pisces moons come around, they're gonna probably want to be around their comfort people a lot of
Oh,
the
I
time.
like that. I
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. And for me, my comfort a lot is just alone time. So that's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So keep in mind that all week Pluto will be square Mercury. So Pluto's the planet of transformation and change, power, has themes of sex, it has themes of other people's money, deep emotion. Okay, so the square is going on with Mercury. Mercury's got enough going on with retrograde. So take it slow with your communication because it will be transformational. Okay, so for the weekend, we've got the moon in Pisces until early morning on Sunday when it moves into Aries because we're heading towards the new moon. So you can move forward. I would kind of chill on the 6th if I could because of the Pisces moon.
My brain just goes to people are it's a weekend with a Pisces moon with a lot of Pluto energy and sexual stuff. It's like make smart decisions, go
Yep.
have fun, but
Yep.
make smart decisions because it's a little
Yeah.
foggy and Pisces is so romantic
Mm.
that people can come in um and really get you thinking that like they're really interested. So just
Yeah.
be cautious.
Be cautious. And remember, Pisces rules drugs and alcohol. So, like, really make sure that you have a designated driver. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the Pluto square Mercury ends on Saturday. So at least by Sunday, we'll have the moon moving into Aries early in the morning, 4 planets in Aries. So again, kind of flashing yellow light, moving ahead, but not too fast. All right. Now, Glori, let's pull a couple cards for this first week. Um, this Mercury first week of Mercury retrograde as we are approaching this new moon and Aries solar eclipse. Okay. And remember, solar eclipse hasn't happened since 2017. So it's pretty wild to think about. All right, I'm going to go first. I've had a thing with this card lately. No matter how much I shuffle this deck, it came up multiple times in the sign by sign readings for the month of April that are over on YouTube. You can check it out. And it came up earlier when we were preparing for this video. This is the page, it's called the Page of Athens, but I think that's traditionally the Page of Swords. And I just love this because she's got this sharp blade reaching up towards the sky. She's got her book out. She's studying deeply. It's almost like she's asking the universe for what she wants. She's setting her intention. She's got the wisdom of the owl behind her and the full moon. And so getting really clear about what it is that you are manifesting. Okay. And again, it's a page, so it's young energy. So you might be afraid. Show up, ask
Yeah, and
for it.
it's like spiritual preparation for like that's the full moon, but it's signifying a like spiritual experience with the moon and doing the spell casting and
Spell
everything like
casting.
that for for that occasion.
Yeah. Asking for what you want, getting grounded in it. And then I got this from the Beltane Oracle, the Honey card.
Mm.
Interesting how her third eye is so activated. Another full moon behind it. And it says, the sweetness of you swells in the grace of your pull, oh so beautifully lethal. Wow.
Yeah,
So,
there's going to be a lot of romance of words this weekend.
you think so?
I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, there's like a lot of feeling going on here.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got?
I have the Three of Wands and the Five of Swords. And like Five of Swords normally is like change and some people can look at it like more negatively, but I actually really like this one and it feels like sticking with your pack. sticking with the people who support
Can you
you.
hold it so we can see it a little bit better? Yeah, there we go. Okay. He's got his
It's
pack. Yeah.
Yeah, like those wolves, they're very loyal. Finding your people that really have your back and care about you this week, and what like you can still be at home and do this, but doing things that like really just work for you and are adventurous in some way, but it doesn't have to be like outwardly going out and doing stuff. But I think just exploring your thought patterns and the people that you're close with and building those connections stronger. I also have the Three of Wands here, and it's like having things come in and letting them go, and new
Mm.
thoughts and ideas, and not getting too attached to things this week, especially with like Aquarius being one of the prominent moon signs for the week. They're just like they're able to detach emotionally a little bit,
Mm.
and they're able to like conversate with people in very light manners, and that kind of contradicts each other a little bit between like developing relationships with your pack and then like a little less emotional conversation. But I think
Yeah.
there's just something about bonding with people without having it be like an emotional toll on you this week.
Okay. What gets my attention in those cards is that those he's holding two swords, right? But he's got three
Yeah.
on the ground. And then we had pulled Three of Swords as a theme card for the month, right? So he's not
Yeah.
letting that old wound affect
Yeah.
because like when Chiron's involved, it's almost like, for an example, I'm hiring people right now, right? And so, like, I could say, oh, and think about all the times it didn't work out or the things that went wrong, right? And that can limit us, right? Just like you could say, like, going into a love relationship, we'll think of all the times it didn't work, right? But what about the times it does work? What about the times that we really can have it work? So I think there's an acknowledgement of that old pain, and
Yeah.
now
That
there's
old flame
the
too.
old flame. Yeah, yeah. And there's like an activation to be like, yeah, it could suck. Or
Yeah.
this could be fresh time. This could be a new chance. This could heal some of that old wound.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Very cool. All right. So that is the week of the 1st through the 7th. As we move into the week of our solar eclipse and new moon in Aries on Monday, the 8th, and there's just newness on steroids, okay? So pay attention to what's being shown to you, right? What new things are being shown to you, even if you're afraid. I keep saying that. And be open to how things can be done differently. All right? So the new moon, solar eclipse, 2:21 p.m. As we move into Tuesday the 9th, the moon will move into Taurus in the morning of Tuesday the 9th, and it will be square Pluto. So Venus is like your money, Pluto's other people's money. There's a square going on. It's Mercury retrograde.
Some people are going to make a lot of money.
Some
Like
people are going to
that's
make,
with all this energy, there's like so much opportunity for some massive success.
yes, but there's also a huge opportunity to waste a ton of money
Yes.
on the Tuesday the 9th. So be
Yeah.
aware of that. We already know that we don't want to make big financial moves that just come up out of the blue, especially on Tuesday the 9th. Okay.
And that can include a lot of little things that don't cost a lot,
Mm-hmm.
that add to a lot instead of
Heck
one
yeah.
big expensive thing.
Heck yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, then Wednesday the 10th, we move in. We'll have 3 planets in Taurus on Wednesday the 10th because the moon will be there along with Uranus and along with Jupiter. Okay, so we have 3 planets in Aries, 3 planets in Pisces, 3 planets in Taurus, all stretched together, all there, right?
I feel like a lot of stubborn energy that day. A
Well,
lot of
yeah.
leaders like having their own thought processes, and they're not going to change their mind because Aries is the leader and Taurus is the bull. So,
Well, Aries likes to be the leader.
yeah.
And Taurus and Aries is a cardinal sign, right? So it's like the energy it takes to push forward the winter energy. Then Taurus is this fixed sign, and they got Pisces there that's mutable. So it's kind of an interesting consolidation of energy. So on Wednesday the 10th, I wrote down to enjoy the simple pleasures. All right. So we can
I
keep
feel
it
like
simple.
our brains went like such different ways. I was like, that'd be such a great time for a really intense business meeting. Like to sit
Ooh.
everybody down and just get to it.
Ooh.
Like it might be intense, but you'll
Ooh.
get so much out of it, I think.
Maybe, but there may be some endings of things too.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And those who aren't on board for newness, you are certainly going to see their reaction.
Yeah, you're gonna get a lot of clarity on people's positions.
Yes, I agree with that
Yeah.
completely. Yeah. But it's going to be revisited. So,
And people's values, because Taurus rules values.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So then we move into the 11th, and we'll have the moon moving into Gemini right around 9 a.m. The moon will be trine Pluto, and Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So this is going to be interesting. So we know it's going to be, we're going to want to speak because Mercury, Gemini I'm a Gemini moon, mile a minute, right? You have a whole bunch of stuff in Gemini. You're always
And
singing or talking or
we chat.
yeah.
We chat. Yeah.
Chatters, writers, communicators. So there's going to be a wanting to communicate. You just have to remember that this will not be the last time this conversation will be had. Okay. So Friday the 12th, we'll continue with the moon in Gemini. It's going to be square Mars, which is interesting because Mars is the ruler of all those Aries planets. It's going to be square Mars and Saturn. The sun will be square Pluto. Interesting. So we'll definitely see what needs to change. Go slow on Friday the 12th. Enjoy a good book or a movie. Just be social, but keep it simple.
See, I don't want to like go against your thoughts, but that to me just feels like again, like if you have these squares with like you said Mars and what was the other sign?
Moon
Saturn?
square Mars and Saturn, and then the sun square Pluto.
Like that is so much intensity. And I think we often differ on this that like sometimes when it's intense, it's like don't feed into that too much because you don't want to get burned. But sometimes it's like if you have a moment that isn't going to be solved without intensity, be in your power position and lead that moment. I think like it can go so many different ways. Like everybody's going to have a different reaction. It depends on where all this hits your own personal chart. Me as someone with Gemini, I'm going to want to like probably like go off and handle like be emailing and in communications with people, whereas someone else with a different chart might need more of that like, okay, I need to not deal with confrontation in the moment.
So in some ways I could say I agree with both of us because it's going to be one feeling or the other.
Yeah.
Right. So if it feels like things are intense and you don't want to speak up right now, then you should take a step back and go a little slower. But if you feel charged by all of this going on and there's things that have been lingering around or have been said before, then this may be the time to revisit that. But knowing that whenever we have squares, right, they can be headbutting or they can be like the zesting or the nail filing, right?
Yeah. Like if you have a really close friend or family member that you're having a small problem with and it's going to make it worse, don't say something.
Yeah.
But if you have like someone being a problem that you want to solve your situation or you have some passionate project that you want to put your energy into and your action into, then that's a great time for that.
I think it's a great day for you to write a song. Can you plan those kind of things?
We'll reflect back on that.
Yeah. Can you plan that? Can you take note of what days you write songs and
occasionally it's an occasionally able to be planned situation and most of the time not.
Or maybe an old song that you revisit during retrograde.
Have a few of those.
You got a few of those. All right.
Yeah.
So then we move into the weekend. 13th, we have the moon in Gemini till like 1:45 in the afternoon. The moon is going to be square Neptune, and the sun will still be square Pluto as we move into this watery weekend. Now, I guess we have a couple planets in water signs. We do have a couple planets in Pisces. We have no activity really in the sign of Cancer. So this is a great time to nurture yourself. It's emotions may run high because everything's running high. And Cancer in general is a feeler.
Yeah. I feel like go out to brunch with your bestie. Like that's
Mm.
what I feel. It's like have that little like loving little connection, having the Gemini energy still coming in the morning.
On
Like
Saturday, yeah.
yeah, having that interaction with a friend because Gemini's all about friends, but as it moves into Cancer, Cancer is like about your heart and feeling good and that loving connection that you share with people and food. It's very
And
connected to
food.
food.
Yeah, you're right. So brunch is a great thing. So go to Saturday brunch on
Yeah.
Saturday the 13th. And then Sunday, when the moon squares a square, when the moon forms a square with Mercury and Venus, and the sun is still square Pluto, I would say this is a great time to take care of matters of the home. Like maybe you want to do some yard work, but
Some
I wouldn't
spring cleaning.
some spring cleaning and just
Yeah.
freshening up and but no major heart to heart conversations with the square with Mercury and Venus. Probably not the time, but a great time to show up to someone's house bearing flowers,
Yeah, get your
freshness.
garden going. I don't know
Yes.
what the frost dates are looking like in comparison to the week, but if you have like a vegetable garden or flower garden, like getting everything prepped and ready or planted for
Yes.
what's able to handle the weather.
Because Cancer
Yeah.
rules the home and it rules all those comfy creature comforts of the home.
Do some
And
remodeling, paint some walls.
yeah, with square Pluto. Yeah, sun square Pluto. Pluto loves
Yeah.
to do construction, right?
We have some construction projects to start doing
There you
ourselves
go.
too.
So maybe you go pick out a few paint colors on Sunday the 14th and,
Do some
you know,
swatches.
yeah, have fun with it. All right, let's pick a couple cards for this big week ahead here, this week of the solar eclipse. I'm going to start while you're still shuffling. I got the Sun card here from the Green Witch. And so we're talking about a solar eclipse. We're talking the sun, Leo, and the chart for that day was a Leo rising. So this is about clarity, seeing clearly. I like that it looks like everybody took a lunch break or
Hmm.
something, right? Kind of
It's
in
like Europe when everybody closes like all
yes,
together
yes,
to go
yeah.
eat.
Yeah, going and putting down the work, putting down the labor, enjoying these rare moments, getting a chance maybe not to be like everybody says, don't drive on the solar eclipse, right? Getting to like take that break and go check out something that's different, okay? And then I have the 10 of Cups and they're kind of savoring the moment, the joy. This is traditionally called the happy family card. And so, with some of that watery weekend with the moon in Cancer and having a few planets in Pisces, my cards are just showing like enjoy it.
So you went from last week having the Ten of Pentacles, right? Was that
Yeah, I
yeah, to
did.
the Ten of
So
Cups. So
the
that's
10 of
really
Cups
great. Yeah.
out of tens. And then really this is card 19, which 1 and 9 is 10.
Yeah.
So I
And I
got
had a 10 before.
yeah, you had a
A
10.
lot
So
of,
there's
lot
like
of ones.
endings, new beginnings. We know it's new energy, but we have to embrace what has to end. And
Yeah.
it's not always easy, and it's not always the things that we want it to be. And we might be surprised. And that's why we need that downtime to kind of absorb and catch up. Okay, what do you have?
I have great cards.
Ooh,
I have the Fool and the Empress.
lovely.
And it just feels like just take those steps, take those leaps. Aries doesn't want to have to think that much. He's not thinking before he steps off this cliff, but it works for him. Obviously, I'm not saying don't think before you take all your actions in real life. This is a little bit more tricky of a situation,
Yeah.
but it's just like go take that action, that path you wanted to start traveling down.
Hmm.
Make like take yourself there. And with the Empress too, like this week feels really great to me. Like this week feels so in your power. I feel like you have so much opportunity for like business success
Mm,
and all sorts of it, like friendships, family, everything. I think it's about setting boundaries. There's a lot of boundaries to be set with people, but
yeah.
when you set the right boundaries with people this week, it's going to like flourish your life in every way. You're going to feel so much better and just like in your element, really comfortable and happy and taken care of.
Yeah,
So
and like she's the green witch there, isn't she? Like she's being herself. She's being her true nature.
and
And
this is Taurus with a
this is
prominent
Taurus.
Taurus energy this week too. It's like there's the bull.
Yeah,
It's just like be a little stubborn, be a little grounded in your thoughts and stand by what you believe and stick with that. Don't let other people make you think other thoughts like change your mind if you really
right.
believe what you are thinking. Don't
Yeah,
change.
because life is a solo journey no matter what relationships you are in. This is the first sign of the zodiac. We're in a fresh zodiac year. And
Solo
so
journey.
yeah, there's so it's your leap of faith, but remembering too Mercury retrograde, we got to take that into account, but it's a great time to plan. It's a great time to see the steps that need to be taken.
And making things look pretty. Like doing the
Yes.
spring cleaning and everything, like the Empress is going to make everything just look beautiful and
Beautiful.
revitalized. And you don't have to buy a new couch to make your living room feel refreshed. You
Right.
can do so much with that without having it be some massive expense.
This from a Taurus.
Yeah, I spend way too much money. So don't listen to me with that.
All right. So let's move into the next week, which is 415 through 421. Speaking of Taurus, we have the sun moving into the sign of Taurus on Friday the 19th. So this is going to help us, right? This is going to help us get a little more grounded, get a little more down into our body. And so we have the sun square Pluto a lot of the week. We are starting to make our way towards the full Scorpio moon. And we have on Monday 415. Well, we've reached about the 2 week. No, we haven't. That's not true. We got another week. I was going to say thought we were reaching the point there, getting a little farther from that solar eclipse, but we have another full week till we can really say that we're out of it. So Monday the 15th, we have the moon moving into the sign of Leo in the evening. Okay, so that means most of the day we're going to have the moon in the sign of Cancer. The moon's going to be square Mercury. It's got a bunch of trines going on though, with Mars, with Saturn, with Neptune. Okay, so trines are a little bit easier aspect, although Mercury stuff is still going on. So we want to watch our words, but get lost in art, get lost in your creative projects. There's so much great energy for that on Monday, the 15th.
And Moon in Leo is probably the best moon
Oh,
there is.
really? From a person with the moon in Leo. Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a classic thing for someone with Leo to say, because
Absolutely.
totally self-centered.
No.
But
Healthy selfish. Healthy selfish.
yes, Leos value themselves. But
Yeah.
yeah, so within that, see, that's a great segue. Put a lot of value into yourself this week and really think, or not this week, but the Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday where Leo's really active in
Yeah.
the moon's energy. Moon is your emotional space. It's like your comfort zone. And to be in Leo, which is kind of like this childlike energy and playful and fun and out there and wants to be seen by people, it's really just
Yeah.
like seeing yourself as beautiful and an amazing piece of work, of piece of art, and just getting creative and valuing who you are within that.
I
So
like that. This from you
yeah.
really got like the perfect chart to be a performer, didn't you? A
Yes.
Taurus sun, so you can be grounded, beauty, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
You're a Virgo rising.
I'm a Virgo rising. I have a massive Gemini stellium in the 10th house of Capricorn. So
Mm,
I would say I have a really great chart for someone to be a grounded performer. There's a lot of
mm,
different charts you could have to be a performer, but sometimes that would include some other elements that I don't have in my chart that could make like partying more of a thing and all those. So I appreciate my chart because it's very grounded and earthy within
Love
all
it.
the air and fire.
I'm very grateful for that too.
Yeah.
And I love when people align to their chart. Like they come in and they get a reading, and I'm like, you'd be good at, I try to have people not tell me a lot. It's like, you'd be good at this, 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 this. Do you work in this field? And they're like,
They're like, yes, you're
yeah,
spot on.
yeah, because they're naturally drawn to that. I love that. So Tuesday, the 16th, I have some stars on it because there's a beautiful trine going on with the moon and Leo trining Mercury, Venus, and Neptune. So I had stars on that. And then, Gloria, you brought out, what were you going to say about it?
From what I see, it looks like the moon is opposing Pluto as well. So that
Yeah.
can be some massive
Moon
change.
opposite, with the trine with Venus and the moon opposite Pluto, that could be some sexy energy too, right? So I think the 16th could be a fabulous day.
Yes.
Yeah, especially
Have
if you're,
fun.
yeah, and if you're dating or something like that, so the 16th would be really activated.
Yeah,
So,
go do a little coffee shop date. Go do something fun. Like it's a Tuesday. I wouldn't say like go clubbing kind of thing, but go to like a library
ooh,
or like go meet people like doing cool, interesting, artistic-y kind of things. A little
yeah,
more comfortable. Like Leo rules like cats. And when I think of that, I think of like the house cat, and it's like it's comfort zones. It likes to lay in the sun rays shining in through the window. Like go do those kind of things that make you feel really just like comfortable and warm and fuzzy.
I
And
like that.
yeah, whether
It's the
that's at
heart,
home or going out and meeting people, like
right?
that reminds me of a like sipping a cappuccino at a nice coffee shop.
Nice.
Yeah.
And maybe, if you're dating, you go out on a date and, or maybe you visit, maybe you have someone from the past that shows up, or you go out to lunch with somebody,
Yeah.
because there's all
Go
the revisiting and
go do a pottery class, like or something, like do a little like drop-in art class or something, or
yeah.
get a tarot reading
Ooh,
in
yeah, you can
Kent.
get a tarot reading in Kent if you want, or virtually. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Wednesday the 17th, we have the moon still in Leo. It's square Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus, and it's trining Mercury and Venus. And then the sun is trining the moon. So I have written down for the 17th, you might think that you have it all figured out, but be flexible, please. Okay. Flexibility. Leo is a fixed sign. It's not always known for flexibility. The sun and moon trining each other. What is your take on the 17th?
Um, so Moon squares Uranus is what it's saying.
And Jupiter.
Uranus. Oh, okay. Wow. Oh, yeah. Things could get big quickly because Uranus and Jupiter like to expand.
Mm-hmm.
Uranus is also Aquarius, which actually works really well with Leo energy. They're very compatible. So, yeah, don't be too stubborn. Don't be too fixated on things, but also like it could be a really fun day to go do things with people. Like if your date Tuesday goes really well, maybe you go meet them again on Wednesday and you take a walk. You go get some fresh air. You climb a tree or something. Like
Climb a
just
tree. Yeah, I think
climb
that's
a tree.
top on people's dating list. All right. So Wednesday or Thursday the 18th, we have the moon moving into Virgo by about 10:10 a.m. The sun will be square Pluto still. And so Virgo, Virgo, you love the details. So show up in the details. Make sure your taxes are done. Make sure that it's a good time to like clean and go through things. And we already said to go through your notebooks.
Yeah.
Go through stuff. What do you think?
Well, so for me, I love a Virgo moon. Not everybody's gonna love a Virgo moon. Virgo energy is something that people have a lot of opinions on because it can be a little harsh and strict. But for me, I'm a Virgo rising, so it's like it makes me feel at home. It's my favorite time. So Virgo puts a lot of perspective on health and fitness and diet, and Virgos tend to have sensitive stomachs.
Yeah.
So if you notice you're feeling like a little more sensitive that time, like try to like eat a little healthier that day so you're not like restricted by your diet and like restricted your movement or what you're capable of doing that day. Um,
That's a good point.
go do something fun that's active that makes you feel really good about yourself in your body. A Virgo wants
Hmm.
to feel like proud of their body and what it can do and how it can move.
I love it. And Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury's in retrograde. So you may be wanting to take a look at your diet, especially as we approach the sun moving into Taurus, because Taurus to me rules like gardens and a nice meal, right? And beauty. And so wanting to really take a peek, Thursday, the 18th, would be a great time to kind of maybe review some menus, review some recipes that you want to make.
It's also, if you're not feeling that energy, it's totally cool to munch on snacks and sit on the couch.
Oh,
Like
okay. You're giving
like
us permission.
yeah, sure. But like not feeling like if you're listening to this and now you're feeling like, oh, now I have to be active on Thursday the 18th. You don't. It's just that perspective of like the balance of what food is with your health and how movement affects your health and like the perspective on how you need to feel internally.
Right.
But like if this is a very intense month, so sometimes you actually might want to take those days to just tell yourself what's health for me is relaxing and not
Yeah.
overthinking these details.
Absolutely. And maybe it's just concentrating on some healthy snacks. You know, maybe that's just you just need to just chill and relax. And Virgo loves to read a good book, make some
Yeah. I
popcorn,
mean,
homemade
like,
popcorn.
I think some people I've heard already put kale in their garden. So if your kale is at all leafy, make some kale chips.
How's it going to be leafy on
I don't
April?
know.
Yeah, I don't know where you think these people live.
Maybe take a few weeks, right? To like
Maybe.
germinate and grow or whatever.
Maybe your
I don't
sister
know.
in Hawaii. Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so we go into Friday the 19th, and we have the sun that moves into Taurus at 10 in the morning. And we have a trine going on with Jupiter and a trine with Uranus. The moon will be opposite Saturn and Mars. Sun is still square Pluto. And I wrote down with a little luck, you might just get a lot done.
Yeah. So I'm personally most excited for this day.
Yeah,
Like I
because
think
it's your birthday month.
well, not even that. It's just energies that I'm very comfortable in and I know very well, so I'm very excited for those energies. And it's just like it's double earth. That is
Mm,
so calming
yeah.
and like it's just beautiful with Taurus coming up with Venus coming in and ruling and taking over. Like you can't really go wrong with that. Not a
Yeah.
biased opinion. A lot of people love the sign Taurus and
Yeah.
what it represents of your belongings and the things that you love and hold value in.
All the
So
beautiful things, jewelry, and even though it's not the best time to be buying it, even though I have
you
a
can
store
look
and
at
I hate
what
to
you
say it,
own.
you can look at
You
what
can
you own.
polish.
You can get some of your jewelry out to clear on the full moon that's coming up, right? I love to
You
do
can
that.
put your winter clothes away and take out your summer clothes.
Yep.
You could start getting prepared for the big change of season.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can put your moon water out because we're going to be getting close. The full moon will be on Tuesday, the 23rd. So as we move into the weekend, I would just get a jug of water out. We're drinking our moon water tea right now that we
Oh,
just
I
made.
didn't know
And
it was
oh
moon
yeah,
water. Oh,
this is
exciting.
Libra full moon water that we're still sipping on here.
Mm.
So just kind of has the vibes, right? Has some good vibes of and helps us align with the energy of the moon, which to me is what astrology is all about. But maybe that's my perspective. I am a Cancer rising ruled by the moon. So all right, now we move into the weekend and we have the moon entering Libra at 11:08 p.m. on Saturday. So most of the day on Saturday we'll have a Virgo experience. It's going to have a trine with Jupiter and Uranus. It's going to be opposite Neptune and Mars. I had down spring clean, spring dream. Continuation of those themes. And Saturday 420, I just have to put in a plug here. That Saturday 420, we have the amazing Scottish psychic Hilary MacDonald in person at our Connecticut location. She is a lovely person. I think she actually has a Libra moon. And she's usually only available over Zoom, but on Saturday the 20th, she'll be in person in Kent and she'll be available over Zoom. So I would make an appointment with her if you can on Saturday 420, celebrating some freedoms that we have here in the United States on 420. As we move into the 21st, where the moon will be in Libra.
Can I go off of the 20th quickly?
Yes,
Just the Virgo
yes.
energy. So I'm trying to think of like what's going on in most people's lives. And I know people around my age who are in college are coming up on finals. So it's a lot about studying and preparation for the next week or so, where like you're going to be going through probably like the graduation process for a lot of people and testings and all of that. So like totally like if you're able to take Friday, Saturday to study, that's going to be a really great time to gain knowledge and to wrap your head around.
Absolutely.
Situation.
See why it's so nice to have a young special guest co-host that knows about college students, because I wouldn't even have thought of that. So thank you.
I only know that because of other people.
Other friends. Okay. All right. So Sunday the 21st, when the moon is in Libra, it'll be opposite Mercury and Neptune. It'll be trine Pluto. So anytime there's a trine with Pluto, I always think it's kind of like sexy energy. There's a lot of power. And then, but you want to enjoy the beauty, Taurus season, and it's also Venus. Libra's ruled by Venus. Taurus is ruled by Venus. We got Venus Sun, Venus Moon. But we want to still continue to choose our words wisely. Whenever there's an opposition with Mercury, we want to pay attention to that. But then we're in a retrograde. And then we're heading to a full moon. It just layers and layers.
I just think dress up really cute, feel really good about yourself, and go with a friend or a date or something. And don't go to a town to go spend a lot of money, but just go to like Kent, Connecticut or something. And just walk through the shops. I know our store has a lot of little things that aren't massive expenses. I would just say like Sunday's a great day. I hope weather agrees with me. But if it's a sunny day, if it's like 45 degrees or more and sunny, like go put on a cute outfit and walk through town and feel really good about like your interactions. Like go to the coffee shop and talk to the person at the register. Go like interact with people in the line with you. If you want to go to lunch and like talk to the person next to you, like go interact with people and just like really appreciate humanity that day.
I love this. And like Libra rules relationships, right? And like in the month ahead, in the readings for each sign, one of the themes that kept coming up was someone's knocking on your door. And I find Mercury retrogrades, people come back into your life. And so you may find that during the Libra moon, during a Mercury retrograde, you know, you go dress up and walk through town and you never know who happens to be back in town.
You're going to go meet like your old first crush from preschool. Like they're going to be right there.
Look good. Yeah.
You can also call your mother.
Oh, yeah. Libra and grandmother. Yeah, that's a good one. And also, I'm not a big fan of window shopping because I'm a store owner, but it's a great weekend to window shop and kind of think about your style and beauty. And then when Mercury retrograde ends, go back and get those pieces that really stood out to you. Okay.
Yeah. So, as you should do in general with shopping is like look for the pieces that you want, get to know them. If you leave the store, obviously not our store. If you like anything in our store, buy it right away. But anywhere else, like if you leave the store and you feel like I can't live without that piece that I saw, then you know that it's worth it.
And that's kind of how I feel about spending money in general nowadays. I've been taking a lot of money classes and it's like, is that really what you want? So taking that little bit of a pause to make sure. So I'm going to pull a couple cards. You pull a couple cards for this Taurus week and the Mercury retrograde continued week, heading to a full Scorpio moon. So talk about intense, okay? I have a lot of planets in Scorpio, so I can say it. Scorpios are intense. We already have so much going on. There's a huge amount of intensity. Pluto is one of the ruling planets of Scorpio, along with Mars, its co-ruler, original ruler. So we know that there's a lot going on with Mars in general. We know there's tons of Aries planets, Aries, new moon, all that. And then the other ruler, Pluto, just moved into the sign of Aquarius. So this Scorpio moon is going to be really interesting. There's going to be shown to us what needs to change, okay, if there was any doubt before. So what do you got?
So I have the Nine of Swords and the King of Pentacles. Now, the Nine of Swords to me feels like kind of some of the Virgo energy. Virgo can be really hard on the self and very like looking in a mirror and critiquing everything about you. You have to be very cautious not to do that, not to be too hard on yourself. Virgo can find a balance though in that they start to notice the things they might not want to represent as much and how to change that and move forward in a healthy manner. But you have to make sure you're finding the healthy manner, or else it can just be really negative self-talk. Right. But you have this really abundant King of Pentacles there that just kind of balances out all of that. It goes into the Cancer and the Leo and everything, and even the Libra. I don't know. It feels so just powerful, abundant, in charge, comfortable. Everything's taken care of.
Yeah, he's a Taurus king. He's got everything
he's
there.
Capricorn, right?
Well, he's a pentacle. He's Earth, so he's any of the Earth sign kings.
He's strong. He's got
those
massive thighs.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then the other one is like, it's almost like, don't worry, the money's coming. Just pay attention to the details. Watch your spending.
Yeah. Be cautious of spending. Don't overdo it. Your paycheck's gonna come in any day. You're like, don't overthink it. Don't overstress about it. There's a lot of stuff with the eclipses. There could be little personal things with people. There could be like little falling outs or disagreements with people, but it's not the end of the world. Yeah. And you might, once retrograde ends, you also might come to conclusions that you feel good about again with it.
Yep. So take note in your journal how you're feeling at the moment. Nine of Swords can be very activated mind. Pour it out into the journal so that you can go back and see it later too with the retrograde.
If someone does you dirty though, know your value and don't forget your value when retrograde ends and they try to come back.
Ooh.
Or if someone tries to come back in retrograde who has done you dirty before, know your value.
Gotcha. I like that. I like that. Yeah. So my cards for the week, I got the Strength card, which is the crone in this deck, the Green Witch. This is our card of the year because 2024 equals the number 8. So this is the Strength card. The version, it's like in the older years here, the wisdom, the maturity. We're talking a lot about looking in the mirror and accepting some of this that we all age if we're lucky.
What I like is that sometimes the Strength card is this power display with the lion. It's fighting the lion. It's overpowering the lion. This one is walking as equals with the lion, being like protected and isn't Leo's prominent this week. Leo rules the lion. It's just like, do your hair.
Do your
Leo
hair.
Rules hair.
Yeah.
Big hair this week.
Yeah, I like that.
Wash it and blow dry it.
Show up.
Get your hair done. Book it now. So actually retrograde when this comes out. It's still be retrograde. But just go get a blowout.
Yeah, just do something and embrace the fact that we're all aging. And I know there's some Virgo energy this week.
Gracefully is one of the most beautiful things.
And accepting the power that comes with that. And I know being on videos, it definitely accentuates the seeing the aging process. It's a little hard sometimes to see yourself. But this week with Virgo energy asking you not to nitpick yourself too hard. Okay. And then I got the 9 of Wands. So we both got 9s, right? You had a 9 also. I have 9 of fire.
So many things on the table.
So many options, so many projects, so many irons in the fire. And almost like don't forget the magic here too. Okay, so there's a lot of power, a lot of magic, a lot you're overseeing, a lot of good stuff, I hope. As we move into the week of the 22nd of April through the 28th. Okay, so now we're starting to see us coming down off of the last eclipse, the solar eclipse. It's starting to wind down now, its effect. But then we will move into a full Scorpio moon week, which I don't know. I love Scorpio full moons. And also we start to move out of Mercury retrograde on Thursday. So things are still super, super intense. Scorpio is intense in general, and then we've got a full moon in Scorpio. We have the Mercury retrograde ending, but it's still going to be in its shadow period. So if you really have to take action, you can start moving forward once it goes direct at 8:54 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 25th. But you still, if you can wait just a little bit longer for major decisions, that would be the best situation, okay? But sometimes you just can't.
How long would you recommend waiting?
I mean, I think some people say the shadow period lasts another 2 weeks, but if we start blocking off all those times, we're going to have no time to do anything. Yeah. So I would at least give it a few days, ideally, if you can. If not, go for it, okay? So we start on Earth Day, Monday, the 22nd. We have the moon continuing in the sign of Libra, okay? So I wrote down relationship deep truths are revealing themselves. And I think some of that was because the sun is square Pluto, and Pluto is in its new sign of Aquarius, and Pluto rules Scorpio. We're going to a Scorpio new moon. And Pluto rules the subconscious mind. So when the sun is shining on the subconscious mind, we're going to get some clarity. So the deep truths are beginning to reveal themselves. What do you think, Glori?
You know, this one is still taking a moment to register in my brain.
Taking some time. Subconscious mind. Yeah.
Libra for me can be a little confusing of a sign for me to connect with. But it's definitely just like it's the balance of things, and it's going to be Earth Day, so might as well just use that time to just go do something for the earth. Libra's beautiful, and it's about making the world feel beautiful and look beautiful as well. So
yeah. Exactly. And it might be a good day to look at some property. If you're thinking about buying property, it might not be a bad time to go look at property, but not to
look at it. Not go to on make Zillow.
Yeah.
Go do the fun stuff.
Yeah, drive by some stuff.
Receive the paperwork.
Yep.
But
don't sign it. Don't sign it.
Yeah, this says until May 4th. On my book it says Mercury
the shadow.
The shadow ends around May 4th-ish.
Yeah.
So
it's about
I would
2
say
weeks,
May
week and a half.
5th to play it safe if you're going to put a down payment down.
Yeah, I agree with that. So a good time to kind of do your research, review. Libra rules contracts. Libra also has implications of like Venus and your mother, and it's Mother Earth Day. So take care of the earth and call your mother.
Love your mother.
Love your mother. Call your mother.
Your mother.
Yeah, don't forget that. Right.
Clean up for your mother.
Yeah, there you go. So we're at a full Scorpio moon, 4 degrees of Scorpio. It's trining Saturn. There's a square with Pluto, and the sun is square Pluto. So there's a lot of Pluto, okay? Pluto's in the sign of Aquarius that rules large groups of people. It's a humanitarian sign. This is the age of Aquarius. Let's envision the change that we need for this world to happen so that all can be well for all. Let's see what needs to change and break down because it is showing itself to us. Full moons, we can see more clearly. We can see the change. We can be the change. I know it's a lot for one day. As the moon moves into Scorpio at 11:20 a.m. on Tuesday, the 23rd. 23rd. Anything to say about that, Glori?
This is the day that I recommend getting in your fuzzy pajamas, taking a nice bath, taking the bath, then getting in your fuzzy pajamas, eat some snacks. That's my
That's
personal
the advice from the
relationship.
Taurus.
That's my advice for an intense Scorpio moon, full moon. I
Yeah.
think that like when a Scorpio full moon hits, there's just so much that potential in the air of what it could be that it's almost like a little too much for me as a person. My relationship to it is like step back and let that energy go somewhere else, not put the focus onto me. But
Yeah, I get that. I mean, it's one of the harder placements for the moon is in the sign of Scorpio, right? Because the
yeah,
moon is your feminine power, it's your memory. And then Scorpio is a very introverted, deep water sign, right? So
yeah.
when the moon is there, sometimes people with Scorpio moons can be very, very hard on themselves, or they can kind of get caught up in nitpicking themselves. So you have
But
to be
they're
really
also
careful.
so powerful. Like Scorpio
So
moon, it's the
powerful.
kind of thing that there's so much power in that sometimes it's hard to manage, and that's why a lot of Scorpio moons can have some like emotional difficulties that they work through. But when they find their power within themselves in that position, it like I look at Miley Cyrus as a good example. Like when she was younger, she obviously like went through like some extreme situations of finding herself and personal
Hmm.
growth, and what made that worse is like the public scrutiny of it all. But
Yeah.
now you look at her, and the woman she's grown into is just this powerhouse of a
Power.
person that so many people respect, despite things that people hated her for before.
Mm,
Like that people have just grown to like love and respect her and see her for
yeah.
who she is, and she just has like the world at her hands. And we don't know her personal life too much,
Right.
but how we view her as an outsider is just like look at her go.
In
So
awe of the change. And so Scorpio, sorry, I had lights go out. Scorpio moon is such power. And so they have the ability, if they can not get lost in the emotion, to actually really bring great change. So
yeah.
let's envision that energy on Tuesday, the 23rd. If it feels like too much, Scorpio does rule darkness, and it
Yeah.
does often need a lot of time alone. So you may need that bath. You
Go
may
to bed
need.
early. So if you feel people
Hmm.
trying to like feel you out, set your boundaries.
Mm.
How
We're moving into Wednesday, the 24th, and we have a little bit of lighter energy on the 24th because we've got some trines going on with Mars and Saturn and Pluto. And then we have an opposition with Uranus and Jupiter. But it's still pretty intense, okay? So you may need to take some time to yourself. You may need to protect your energy a little bit. You may need to clear your energy. This is not the time to be taking in a lot of media. This is not a time to sit in front of the TV and watch the news. Okay?
Mm.
They're going to be very, very highly affected by it. So please take care of yourself, and life is showing you where the change that you have control over needs to be made. All right. As we move into the 25th, where we start the morning with the moon in Scorpio, but Mercury goes direct.
Yes.
8:54 a.m. Yahoo. So now that Mercury goes direct, it's going to come back over all that time period. All right. So everything that's been going on since March 18th, now we get the final swoop. All right. So see what comes up. See what it's showing you. By the evening, the moon will move into Sagittarius.
Mm.
And
Fun.
more fun energy coming
Yeah.
in. Yes, from a Sagittarius here. So, Friday we'll have the moon in Sagittarius. Moving forward, a little lighter after the intense full moon. What did you learn? How can you implement that into your life? Sagittarius wants freedom. So, what have you been freed up from?
And there's so many things with the past 3 weeks now about change and rebirth and letting go that will open up so much availability for freedom in your life. And then
Yes.
this day can also give perspective maybe on where you might not feel as free and what you want to open up even more.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there could be a lot of things about your belief systems that could be changing.
Leave
Um,
your boyfriends.
leave your
Be free.
boyfriends.
Leave your
Oh,
boyfriends. You're
really?
when they're
So
controlling.
spice. Oh, okay.
Sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
We
I'll
forgot
be more
that part.
specific.
Okay.
Leave your controlling boyfriends behind in
Okay.
this time.
It's
You want
Gloria's
to
advice.
be, yeah, go on your little pottery making dates with new people that want you to dress how you want to dress and be who you want to be.
There you
People
go.
that want to change who you are, throw them out the door.
There you go.
They're not welcome here. You're a free
That
person.
sounds like a lyric from one of your songs right there. You're not welcome here no
Probably.
more. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Saturday, enjoy your freedom. Moon in Sagittarius. There's a trine with Mercury. There's a trine with Venus. How lovely. There will be a square with Mars, Saturn, and Neptune. So you kind of got to move a little slow because those planets are in the sign of Pisces. So go slow, but move ahead. Go slow, but have fun. Enjoy your freedom. Sunday, the 28th. We've got the moon in Sagittarius until very early in the morning when it will move into Capricorn. We've got the sun trine the moon. We've got the moon square Mercury, Mars, and Neptune, but we have a trine with Venus. Although Venus itself is square Pluto. Wow. So there's sexy energy available. Keep conversation light. Have fun. But Capricorn wants to take care of your responsibilities. What's your take?
I think this month overall, and specifically this day, and there's a few days in here, that it's going to be a really, really great time for single people and trying to build connections with people and get to know people and bond with people without it being like a major commitment and losing your freedoms as a
Mm,
single person. I think there's going to be a really great energy for personal relationships that come in that really help you feel alive and appreciative of people being in your life.
I like it.
And it's just fun. Sagittarius is fun. Sagittarius is the kind of person who, when they ask you on a date, they're gonna want to go out in the woods and or bike riding or like do
Something a little obscure. Maybe they'll
yeah.
want to climb a tree with you, like you said for last
Yeah,
week.
at least like people in this area where we live in the woods, like the activities they're gonna want to do are gonna be around nature and wildlife and really like
Mm,
putting the phone down and appreciating your surroundings.
I like it. All right,
Yeah.
I'm pulling a couple cards here for this week. Gloria, you go ahead and pull yours. I'm going to start off. I got the King of Pentacles. I feel like I got him twice now.
I got him.
Or you got a King of Pentacles.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the King of Value, the King of Money, the King of anything important to you. I like the Morning Glories.
Mm.
Don't you have a Morning Glory tattoo on your arm, Miss
Yeah.
Glory? Yep,
It's hard
there's
to
the Morning
see.
Glories. And here he looks like all is well. As an Abraham Hicks quote, all is well and getting weller. It's kind of a silly one, but that's what it reminds me of. So there's a lot of beauty, a lot of things are being seen. There's a lot here about value. And then I also have the Four of Cups, and this was another card that came up a lot in the in the sign by sign readings. Someone is showing up. Okay,
Options.
someone
Someone
is
wants to
showing up.
romanticize you?
Yeah,
Romance you.
romance you. And I like he's holding the cup of satisfaction. Her attention is on the Three of Cups. Three of Cups is usually a situation that is fun. So it looks like she's a little bit complacent about her versions of fun.
She also just looks unsatisfied with those cups specifically, those
Yeah.
chalices, and he's bringing in a new one that she might like more, that she's not bored
Yeah.
of, that she's had around her for too long.
She's got a dragonfly above her head that's got a 360 view, but yet her view is very limited at this point. So, and then with the King of Pentacles next to it, it's like, this could be like stable relationship. This could be something. And if you're not like coming from the aspect of looking for love, this could just be a stable opportunity that's showing up for you. And so let's allow it to show up, especially after retrograde, or any decisions about this can be made sometime after the 25th.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
And
do you
I
have?
like looking at your King of Pentacles, I just think about like how much land is behind him.
Mm,
It's like he owns all that land. That is so much space and property to work with and be appreciative of. So it really just feels like valuing those things that you have, because like
mm.
when you have those things of value, really comprehending it might not be something expensive, but it's something that you value internally, and really putting appreciation into those things that you have. I have
Absolutely.
This is the 10 of Wands, and like he's got two of them behind him, and it's like part of me thinks like, yes, carry the load, do the work, get it done. But it's also like, but don't be afraid to let some things drop so that you can
Mm,
at least see where you're going.
yeah.
Carry your load that you're working, but don't block your vision. Don't block out, don't like take on so much that you can't even see where you're going. Like,
Interesting. Both of our cards have like we can't see everything.
yeah. Like, also, who's saying you can't put half the pile down and come back for a second load?
Yeah.
As
Don't.
someone who, when I have groceries in my car, I will hold like 5 bags on each arm just to make sure I don't have to do
Yeah.
another load. I'm saying put it down and go back for it again.
Yeah.
But this is going to be too much stress on the body. You might get to your destination, but you're going to be hurting after.
Yeah, and there's two wands dropped. It's like don't forget about your relationships. Don't let it just be all work.
Yeah. And then I
Yeah.
have the Page of Wands, and it's the singing birds. It's
Mm.
so just like light and positive. It's like it's not a worry. You're walking down the dirt path and you hear these birds singing you a song, and you don't have a phone, you don't have like belongings, you don't have technology. You're just there experiencing nature and experiencing the beauty of the world. And being that Earth Day is Monday, that's a really great thing to just like really appreciate like nature and what the world is and has to offer, and why we need to protect it and be kind
Yes.
to it.
Agreed. All right. So we move into the final week of the month, which will be 4/29, and we'll go into May 5th. Okay. So we have, let's see, we have Venus square Pluto for a while. We have the moon in the sign of Capricorn on Monday, the 29th, and it will be square Mercury. We have a trine going on with Jupiter and Uranus, but we have Venus moving into its own sign of Taurus the morning of the
Aw.
29th.
Oh my God, so many people are gonna fall in love. And May is the best season for love
Wow.
because the flowers are blooming.
Oh, I like that. So we're entering the beautiful season of Venus in general. We're in Taurus season, and then we have Venus coming into its own sign of Taurus where it functions extremely well. Okay. So this is going to have themes of value, stability. It's almost like that King of Pentacles that was pulled for last week. Value, stability, long term wellness, and success. And there's a twist of luck in there with the trine with Jupiter. So we move into Tuesday the 30th, and we have the moon and Pluto both squared Venus. The moon will move into the sign of Aquarius in the morning. And I wrote down that old memories are coming up to heal. You've got this. You can do this. Mars enters Aries. Mars into its own sign. So we got some
Oh,
planets moving into their own signs, which is really
that's
cool.
great. Go have fun with some friends on Tuesday. Like, whether it's like having a phone call and just catching up, or going out and hanging out with friends, or having some people over. Like, the Aquarius energy. I know we had Aquarius energy at the beginning of the video, and I kind of said more so like, don't be afraid to stay in and be a little more reclusive. But for some reason this time I'm switching up, and I'm like, this Aquarius energy feels like go engage with people. And I think
Yeah.
part of that's with the Mars Aries
Moving in.
placement
Yeah.
of taking action. Aries doesn't want to be alone. Aries wants to go out and be constantly stimulated by things.
Yeah.
And
Redefined and
yeah,
yeah. And so I like this energy of these planets in their own sign, and especially with Venus and Taurus is in Taurus season, it's pretty cool.
yeah,
So old stuff coming up to heal. And as we're moving into Beltane, into May Day on Wednesday, May 1st. So my limited understanding, these are pagan holidays, right? This Beltane is the celebration of the god and the goddess. And it's a fertility, really about fertility and rites of passage of spring and celebrating this fresh spring energy. Okay. And then May Day, I think, is the same kind of concept, isn't it?
probably. I don't know too well, other than I just remember being at like the Waldorf school as a kid, dancing around the maypole as a child, singing
Yeah.
songs. And
Yeah.
that just makes me think like if you have the opportunity to go out and celebrate the change of season in any capacity,
Yeah.
even if it's sitting out on your lawn and just like taking in the fresh air and like experiencing the shift of the season,
Absolutely.
or it is finding a maypole and dancing around, even if
Yeah.
they're strangers. If you have the opportunity to go let loose and dance, like that
Yeah.
just feels like with the moon being in Aquarius, just go be your strange fairy self and
Yeah. I
don't
love
be
it.
afraid of that. Be out there, be creative.
It's a good day to dress up as a fairy. It is.
Yeah.
And
If
also,
if you have like people in your life that have kids, or if you have kids, like really try to go bond with those kids and that childlike energy and engage with them in a way that makes them want to experience that earthy fairy fun and dance outside.
yeah, I think of like you and your sister used to make like the crowns out of forsythias
Yeah.
and really celebrating nature. This is the earth coming back alive after the winter season. This is when all the little bunnies and babies are being made. This is traditionally a fertility based celebration, and it traditionally they burned a fire. So if you
Mm.
have
Yeah, dance around the
access
fire.
to a fire and safely fire pit, if where you live allows that, burn a burn a small fire. Acknowledge this day of new sparks, new love, new growth, new life. That's really what it's rooted in to me. My limited understanding of it. Okay, so Wednesday. Then on Thursday, the 2nd, we'll have Pluto retrograde beginning.
Yeah.
So it's going to head back into Capricorn by September through November.
Ooh.
And so that'll be interesting to really see what final cleanup needs to be made and some of these old ways of being that we can so easily fall into. Okay. Pluto will be retrograde from like September till about November. I think it's the 16th or 19th. So right after our U.S. presidential election, Pluto, the planet of transformation, change, will station in the sign of Aquarius, the uprising, the power to the people, the new humanitarian energy for the next 20 years. Okay. So, Capricorns, you may feel around September to November, some old things start to show up again that you thought maybe were taken care of, and this is your final cleanup period then. Okay.
And that's not just for Capricorns.
It's for everyone.
That's for everybody.
Especially for Capricorns, they're going to feel it.
It's all going to be different based on where Capricorn lies in your chart.
Absolutely. And where Scorpio and Pluto are. But so the 2nd, big stuff is happening. The moon is still going to be in the side of Aquarius till about mid-afternoon when it will move into Pisces. Pay attention, be willing to change. Pisces is an adaptable, mutable sign. The moon will be square Jupiter and Uranus, okay, Thursday the 2nd. We move into Friday the 3rd. We'll have the moon in Pisces. You've done some deep karmic cleanup, so rest up. There has been a lot going on through the month of April. When we're dealing with karma, old ways, we had that South Node activity there on March 25th with that full moon in Libra. We had all this activated energy about letting old things go and bringing new things in. And so take some time to rest while the moon is in Pisces.
Or for college students, go party. Enjoy your last few weekends of being at school with your friends.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that. Just do it carefully because
Do
it's
it carefully.
Pisces.
Do it on campus. Don't drive. But go
Celebrate.
celebrate the end of the year. Because I know some people like that would be the last weekend or the next 2 weekends or so. So either like rest up and get prepared for like get packed up, pack your belongings up in your dorm room.
Yeah.
So.
And you know, Pisces rules anything retreating, anything taking you away from society. You could say that a party celebration weekend is that, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's away from the norm. Just do it safely and responsibly, okay? And keep in mind, we're in Taurus season, ruled by Venus. Venus moved into its own sign of Taurus. Beltane is the rites of spring passage of fertility. There is a heck of a lot of fertile energy here. So be careful.
Be careful.
Both a woman's and a man's responsibility. Be careful. Okay? Because you don't want a whole bunch of bunnies around later. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So Saturday, nothing is balanced. Okay. Moon in Pisces till 4:41 p.m. when it moves into Aries. I have to chill out during the day, but like you said, it could just be like enjoying the whole realm of the joy that you're choosing to surround yourself in. Then the energy will pick up speed into the evening. Okay. We'll have the moon back into Aries. We still got some planets there. So have fun, but like be careful. Don't move too quickly with some planets in Pisces still. And you just kind of watch your step. Yellow flashing light. Sunday, Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, this is a party weekend.
This party weekend.
Oh,
all
yeah.
Right. So Sunday the 5th, moon in Aries on this feisty kind of margarita weekend, right? Is that right?
I mean, you don't have to drink a margarita to be celebrating.
Kind of seems like that might be what's served a lot. But spicy,
I think my brain's just going to like backyard house parties of college students.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking of everybody.
All right.
Thinking of something specific.
Well, there's going to be getting stuff done. There's going to be a lot of aggressive, forward-moving energy over the weekend. Okay, so have fun with it.
Yeah.
Things are starting to get a little clearer. Go live, but do it safely. Make good choices. Have a lot of fun. I think you'll meet new people. I think if you're single, this is a time. I sound like a mom. Just like, be careful, use protection, don't drink and drive. That's the advice.
That's the advice every single week and day
it is,
of existence.
Especially.
But this time it's like there's so much potential this week for really fun interactions. And whether that is friendship, or just bumping into somebody and having really nice conversations that are kind of like energetically charging. Sometimes you could have like the simplest interaction with somebody, but it makes you feel so good. Like you might be walking down the street and get compliments from people or giving compliments. Like it's that kind of like week to just like share positivity and appreciation with people. Or it could be if you are someone looking for romance, there is all that opportunity in the air for that. But if you aren't looking for that, don't feel like there's no opportunity or like positivity for you. There's so many options.
There's newness. There are moons in Aries. The last time it was in Aries, we had the new moon. There's all this fresh energy. So you can use it for
Fresh
love,
air.
fresh air, fresh energy. You can use it for love. You can use it for self-love. You can use it to make new friends. You can
If
use it to start up new projects.
if you're gonna party, try to do an outside party. Just be out in the air.
In the
Or
fresh air.
like be around a bonfire. Do something like that. Like have an indoor outdoor experience even, but don't just be stuffed inside this whole week even. Don't be stuffed inside and
Yeah.
cramped in stuffy air.
Right,
Like
right.
open your windows,
Really
freshen things up.
enjoy nature as coming from a Taurus in Taurus season with Venus and Taurus. Enjoy those beautiful, maybe it's time to break out the grill and have a nice meal. It's about simple
Yeah.
beauty.
And now that like retrogrades up, even though this isn't a huge expense, but like take yourself out to eat some night and like go somewhere you've wanted to treat yourself to.
Mm.
Taurus, Venus and Taurus, like that's the finer things. That is good food. Eat some good food, whether it's cooking it yourself, learning how to cook a meal if you don't know how to cook much, like taking the time in the kitchen to develop a taste, a flavor palette that you really like, or taking yourself somewhere that you know it's gonna like be like an experience to eat the food.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
gonna do that.
I might have to do that too.
Yeah.
All right. So I have a couple cards for you for this last week, this Beltane week. And my first card is the Hanged Man. This one's called the Oak King. And this is a Pisces card. Okay. And this is about, well, it's like the universe has you by the foot. This is the card of divine delay. This is stopping to enjoy these moments, right? You're really, and it's interesting because like he looks like the horned god. Like this is almost like what is involved in Beltane. And he's held here. So again, like if you are single, he's waiting for you. If you are, please take the time out to savor nature, to savor the Pisces energy, and really envisioning how you want your life to be. It's interesting that he's like making the circle 8 in the ground, and that is our number of the year, the 8. Okay, so it feels very present time to me.
It's also infinite. There's an infinite, because it's infinity, so there's an infinite amount of possibilities.
Absolutely.
And if you're looking for your lifelong partner, can't guarantee anything, but there is that opportunity for infinite, which could be
more than you
forever.
could ever have dreamed too.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of waiting there, and he looks like he's very ready for Mayday. He has a Forsythia crown, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Someone aligned to you. I also have the Knight of Pentacles, and the Knight of Pentacles bearing flowers, showing up. Knight of Pentacles moves pretty slowly, but it looks like he's arrived. Looks
He's
like
still
it's
on a
woman,
horse.
too.
Whether he's just going at a gentle walk, a stroll, or galloping, it's a horse. It's gonna be, even if a horse is going slow, it's faster than a human.
It feels like steady energy is finally arriving for you. Some people that are grounded and yet have a vibe of spirituality.
Yeah.
I picked one more from the Beltane Oracle also, and I got Morning Dew. What stillness does the silence of one's steadiness bring? What stillness does the silence of one's steadiness bring? Isn't that beautiful? All
Feeling
dressed
really
in
good
white.
in yourself. I think this period is going to be very like self-reflective, and you're going to feel like a lot of changes in who you are as a person and how you view yourself and value yourself, which is going to make relationships that come in so much stronger and healthier and powerful and suitable to you, because you'll have a deeper understanding of who you are after this eclipse season.
She's wearing white. It looks like a wedding dress, maybe. And
don't get engaged in retrograde.
No, but retrograde's over now, so.
Well, I'm just giving the warning, because if they're getting married now,
it's
if you're planning the wedding.
It's arriving.
But if you already are engaged, have a great wedding. This is a great time.
Also, this reminds me of a Grateful Dead song, Take a Walk in the Morning Dew. So like there's this freshness, right? Walking in the morning dew keeps us grounded and also open us up to the magic.
Mm.
What do you got?
Mine's more for people who I think are a little more casually romantic,
Okay.
because that looks
Very casual.
very casual.
Can you hold
Casual.
it still so we can see it a little better? Let's see.
Yeah, we have the Page of Cups, and I think the Page of Swords, right?
Wow. They're showing
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Well, well, be careful. Love may show up. Just pay attention to your gut feeling about what it is on their agenda because not,
This is not love.
well, it's
This
lust.
is lust. Not saying love is impossible, but that lust is in the air. So if that's what you want, that's great.
Yep.
But if what you're looking for is true romance,
Yeah.
just being cautious, not because there is all that opportunity in the air, but just making sure you see clearly what the person you're specifically engaging with is giving you back.
Is intention because Beltane has a
Yeah.
lot of that kind of history too, a little bit more lustful roots in some regards.
And that
So,
also goes into people that you aren't trying to be romantic at all with.
oh,
So being cautious of people's true intentions when coming into your life and engaging with you.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
that sword is clear that if you have to make the boundary, you got to make it.
And also, like, what are they trying to offer you to get your interest in them? So just being cautious of like business deals that could come in or people that can try to come in with some reason to be in your life. But
Yes.
there's so much opportunity as well. So just being cautious of what the negative side can look like so that you can put focus into the positive side of it.
Yeah, because there's Pisces energy, which sometimes isn't clear. And then there's a lot of Aries energy, which is like so clear, but they're just like going for it. So just know that if it is that you're looking for love and you're looking for steady, long term love, pay attention to your body's reaction to the people. And I'm not just talking about below the belt reaction, I'm talking about your gut feeling about people.
Your first gut instinct is almost always 100% right.
Oh my God. It's like, how many times do I have to tell myself this until I finally, 100%
You don't just have a
trust it?
stomach ache.
Yeah. When you
or
feel
you
those
didn't-
flutters,
You don't feel queasy because of the thing you just ate. Like, you feel
Yeah.
queasy because you're feeling the energy.
more and more, I notice the little twang, usually deep down.
And
And it's
also,
like-
a twang or twang does not signify being interested in them either. Because sometimes I think that can get confused too. It's like when you feel something right away, you feel that's you being drawn to them. And it's like, no.
Yeah, and that goes into a whole nother conversation about karma and twin flames and all that. And I kind of have a little bit of I don't have like the traditional view of those things, I guess. I don't know. My view of it more is when I
Toxic.
feel that karma twang now, it's like I want to cross the street and
There's-
walk away from it.
Often a lesson to be learned with those people, but that doesn't mean you have to go learn the lesson.
It's how many times do you have to learn that lesson is the question.
Yeah.
So I do believe in twin flames, and I don't believe that they're always what we're looking for.
They're great teachers.
Absolutely fabulous teachers.
Yeah.
So, did we pull our cards? We did the cards?
Yeah.
And so thank you. Thank you, Glori, for being an amazing special guest host.
Yes.
And it was so great to have your fresh perspective on it. Now, Glori, I encourage people to head over to your website, gloriwilder.com, Glori Wilder. See when she's playing in the upcoming area. I think that you will really, well, there's a lot of shows coming up, really. And I think that you will really connect with her music also, so check her out. Glori helps us at the shop in Tarot in Time, and I keep telling her, you should read people. You should read people. So if you want Glori to give you a reading, please send us a special request. And if she gets enough of them, I think she'll come around to doing it.
If someone comes in and they're like, I'll only take Glori, I've
yeah.
done that before. I've
She
read
has.
very few people.
I have
but
a feeling she'll do it a little more often. And we do offer Zoom readings also. So keep that in mind. And please feel free to send us that special request. Join us for Tarot Tea and Treats in Kent, Connecticut on 4/11. All of this information can be found on our website, tarotintime.com. That's time, THYME. And I will be back. I've got a few more special guests up my sleeve. I'm going to try to surprise you with wonderful people. And don't forget to get your free reading for your astrological sign. They're up on YouTube. Please let me know that you listened. I'd love to hear from you instead of just having me talking all the time. I'd like to hear who's listening. So thank you again and have a fabulous, fabulous month of April.
Yes.